Hi everyone, welcome back to Muscular Developments. My name is Lauren Lotta from the Buff Bombshell Show. Today I'm doing a very exciting interview with Robert Phil, the wellness creator, and Brian Hernandez, aka the Baby Hulk from Miami. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for coming on to talk about wellness and what is going to happen, because we have got the Olympia next week, and it is the first time wellness has ever stepped on stage for the Olympia. So I'm going to introduce you to Robert Phil. Robert Phil, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. Hi, thank you so much for one more time to be in your postcard. I think you do a great job. All female categories, not just wellness. And, it's a pleasure to be with Brian, for me, one of the top coaches in the moment in wellness. One of the best, because he's already proved that, because it's qualified 4 athletes for Olympia, 4 for 5, not sure. But I need to congratulate. I think this situation that sometimes the people think coaches cannot be in touch or cannot talk or cannot be friends. I think it's something we need to be demystified. I think the people should share knowledge, because it's a new class. And we need to be a little bit more united and create more content for the future wellness, future pro wellness, because it's also a coach who focuses and create wellness. And Brian, it's not just qualify athletes for Olympia, because we need to prepare these athletes to pro stages and make them to win pro shows. Then that's how they can get to Olympia. Then Brian successful beat. A lot of girls, and they still him. I did 3 girls. I'm all current just with 1. But end of the day, I'm quite happy to be here in this postcard with Brian. I think because he's so knowledgeable. He got the same passion to me. We have the same mentality in terms of give the attention to the athletes and train up our athletes. And not quite often we see coaches doing that, but in the wellness category, it's a new class. I don't know, Brian, because it's a new class, I think it's necessary to do.
Yeah. So I love that you want to unite the coaches, and you agree that you want to share knowledge and that you have the same passion. And then Brian, onto you, because I don't know so much about you, but I'd love to have you just introduce yourself. You're an MD, and just give us a little bit more information, because from what I hear, you're supposed to be a really good wellness coach, and if you've got the same passion that Rob has for wellness, then I like that.
Thank you, and thank you to Robert. Thank you to you guys for allowing me to be here this morning, and for the platform that you guys share to expand in the whole category, for wellness, which is going to be one of the new categories taking over the world by storm. Honestly, you guys do an amazing job covering everything. I watch a lot of your interviews. And like Robert said, Robert, what people don't understand is Robert's played a big brother role with me. So a lot of the credit that I have, I just turn right back around and I attribute it to Robert, because Robert, few people told me, hey, you know what, you're good at this. Why don't you do this? I know you don't want to do this full time, but do it, because I am a police officer. I'm 33 years old. I used to compete. But most of my time now is focused on my career at work, because I juggle a couple of different hats at work as far as what I do as a police officer, because I'm a hostage negotiator. I'm the crisis prevention team. I'm the PIO, so I speak with public relations when anything happens in the city. I'm the one that talks to the media and the Spanish aspect of it. So my schedule is very full when it comes to police work. However, Robert and I met in Pittsburgh, and it just kicked off from there. And despite what made people think that, coaches should have like these feuds, Robert and I are trying to show that that's not the case, that, we can get along. We can share these so-called secrets, which they're not really secrets. They're just common knowledge and misconceptions that are being done in the sport. And so what Robert and I care about, honestly, is that every athlete does the best that they can, whether it's for my athlete, that they show up on stage 100% that day, because neither Robert nor I want our athletes to beat an athlete that shows up at 80%. So if there's something that we can do to help each other, where it's advice or guidance, we're absolutely going to do that for each other. And that's the part that people don't understand, that we're trying to bring a new unity to this class, because at the end of the day, neither Robert nor I can attend or take care of the millions of girls out there that want to do wellness. So we do need more coaches to step up, and we do need more coaches to learn the category. Now, I got into coaching wellness because of my ex-wife. That I coached her into being a wellness pro, And I think she's had one of the fastest careers growing in this industry, because she went from amateur to pro in 17 days. And in those 17 days, she won 3 overalls in the 3 shows that she did, to include the Olympia Amateur in Orlando. So she took the industry by storm. So that's where my name started to pick up, because obviously everybody was like, well, who is this girl? Who's this amazing athlete? And of course, the question was, well, who's her coach? And then after that, that's where I met Robert. And that's when Robert started putting the bug in my ear of, well, listen, if you did this with her, then why don't you do it with the other girls?
So I love that the point where you said also wellness is just managing to explode, and you've managed to get into wellness for both of you now. But let's talk about how wellness is just growing exponentially every single year, to the point where I personally feel it might even take over bikini. There's a lot of girls that are just entering it, and the categories just become so immensely popular, like you said, with your wife or your ex-wife, and she sort of went into this, and then she's got a pro card. But how do you see the category going as far as it is now? Oh, to the point actually where it is now.
Well, the thing is, so Robert and I come from Latin America, so we've seen wellness around for years already. We've seen wellness since it started coming out in 2010 in Brazil, and even in the early phases that it was at. So Robert and myself have always been guys that we always travel. So we've seen this. We knew this was coming. It was a matter of time. Was when was the IFBB Pro League going to accept this category for the women? Because not every girl can be a bikini competitor. It's very tough. So people are like, oh, this is a sport for Latinas. And I'm like, no, it's not just for Latinas, because you have a bunch of American girls that play volleyball that have huge legs and that are track runners. They have these amazing lower body developments that the bikini category is not a fit for them. And then at the same time, they don't want to be too muscular up top and be a figure competitor. So this is the best of both worlds, where these athletes have a chance to have a platform and where they can show their physiques and they can display themselves, adequately based on what their genetics allow them to do.
I love that. And then in terms of just the genetics and going back from 2010, how have you seen the category sort of change, and what is the new criteria, would you both say, is now required for wellness, to even consider entering wellness?
Well, I'll let Big Brother answer that one first.
How I look to the category now, the criteria?
Yeah.
The criteria, wellness started in 2005. On that time, it's about a more beach body look, pretty much. The girls don't need to worry about bring that teardrop glutes, but have a very small waist, or vacuum change, add some insertions and anti and have nice calf, nice balance, nice rear delts. It's just about beauty body, body fat a little bit more higher. And then during the 10 years, we see wellness kind of development. The other federations now no longer with IFBB Pro League have a different look wellness style, bringing 2017 Europe. The first country, I believe, started wellness in Europe is Portugal, and then moved for the rest of the Europeans. Then we got the first Mr. Olympia Amateur in 2017, with Yarishna Machado wins the overall. And even the Angela Borges, the record Guinness wellness in titles, she placed 7th, surprisingly, in that show. That's what the both separations split up, 2017. What I see the criteria now is, to be honest, I've been talking with Brian about this. I've been seeing too many predictions, but I really think the Pro League still need to find on this Olympia who will be the criteria for the wellness, because it's not established yet. And I believe all these predictions, all this already won, people need to be careful sometimes. And me and Brian, I think we are very careful compared with other coaches in terms of when we talk about this going to win the show, or this is better than this, or this is better than that, because we have a lot of examples Pro League, nothing's granted. And look to Isa Pessina last year. Olympia winner go back out of top 5. That's something shows not as granted. And now we are talking about a class. We even don't have a criteria established 100%. The criteria is going to be established on the day they crowned Olympian athlete. And then that will be the criteria. Previous winnings, we got different body types winning shows. Sometimes more conditioned, sometimes more soft, sometimes, I can't say this is the clear criteria. What I can say is what they're looking for on the moment. I don't know if Brian agrees with that, but that's my opinion. I don't think that the criteria is established. I think they have a certain look they want for now. But they want to find on Olympia who really are, or who is the clear wellness look for them, and it will be crowned as the first Mr. Olympia Wellness Pro at Mr. Olympia.
Right, and then moving then into Olympia, what would you say would be your top 5 based on the look that you would want them to pick if there wasn't a clear criteria established yet?
Before I go to that matter, I like to all the wellness pros on the world to understand. Me and Brian, I speak to me, maybe I can speak for him. We're not here to criticize.
Oh, no,
we're here to talk about what we've been seeing. Okay? My own taste of wellness, based what I've been seeing by shows, that's what we need to take. Forget the names. Let's look to the physiques, my point of view. I believe, because break news, like to let you know, Giselle Machado is not going to be able to compete on Olympia, then I'm going to take it out of this, okay? Then, what we got is, of course, Yarishna Ayala. She kind of development the upper glutes, because she kind of have a little bit problem on your gluteus medius, and she kind of fixed that. I'm really happy to see she kind of know what is the weakness, and she really go there, really done a great job with her to focus on her weakness and balance a little bit more destructive glutes, and I think she's going to be even more dangerous now. Then we got Angela Borges. I need to put in the mix, but I still think I see Angela downsize a little bit. I don't think it's quite favor her in terms, because when she downsized, she loses the answers, but she's still a great opponent. Tatiany Valliant, I believe, is a great opponent. Finally, I can add 2 other girls. To be honest, I think they're going to be very dangerous. I believe Juliana Chitara and Isamara Santos, because I saw them on the gym in Cancun. They really look very, very crazy. Then people will say, why you mix these girls? They don't even have a big name. This is not about the names. This is about what I see. What I see about these 2 girls, people need to be careful and make sure, this is not about the names. I'm talking about what I've been seeing so far.
Right.
Isa Pereira can put in the mix, but is my friend, but I'm not seeing her. That I can't say is my top 5 at the moment, because I'm not seeing Isa. I don't have a check-in. But that's my top 5. If I can say top 6 yet, I'll put Isa Pereira there. But because I'm not seeing Isa Pereira physique, I can't say, she's I see the other ones. And Juliana Chitara and Isamara, on the moment, they kind of progress a lot. That's my top 5 now, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the top 5. They maybe can turn up in Olympia, like the physique change towards. So, if tomorrow I see Isa, can you tell me? Because I'm not a coach, I don't see a physique, but Isamara I see because I found the gym. Juliana Chitara found the gym in Cancun. And that's why I say they're very, very dangerous, And Franciele, I didn't saw her, but she won the Art of Ohio. She quite have a decent physique, and that's my opinion.
Okay. And Brian, what is your sort of top 5 outlook then? Or sort of prediction?
Robert, because like he says, we talk constantly, and we do share that, and we actually even spoke about the fact that the probably going to be an 8-girl call out, because it's too many of them, just too much, too many factors right now that are unknown. So if we go we go off of Instagram, because everybody looks great on Instagram, and everybody looks great by themselves. Taking a picture, they add pictures, they change the lighting, so that has to be eliminated now. Like Robert says, we have our likes and our taste of what we may want to see on stage and who we want to see compared. So that's why we also said, you know what, it may be an 8-girl call-up, because there may be some other names that may be in there. However, the depending factor of whether those girls are going to make it into that call-out or not is how they look the day of the show. Because another factor that me and Robert talk about too is they look great now, but some of these girls have had to quarantine 15 days in Mexico. Traveling does mess up the body. It does make it cold water. It does put stress on the athlete. Cortisol levels go up. So there's a bunch of things in there, and then of course we're going to, if you would have asked me and Robert 2 weeks ago who our top 5 was, we would have had Juju, and in that top 5 as well too. Those are 2 great athletes that are not going to be allowed to come into the United States because of visa factors. So you already had 2 big names that, it's not so much that they're big names, but you have 2 really good athletes that we know from seeing them personally that are not show their best now, because unfortunately they don't have the visas. So then now you have to see, how they're going to stand next to each other, how they're going to go on that flow, because you have a very Latin American look and then you have an American look, and American athletes do look a little different from some of the Latin American athletes, so that's where genetics comes into play. And that's something you can't train. The genetics are there. That's what they're born with. That's the predisposition that's there. So these are the things that Robert and I talk about, because it's going to be very interesting going forward, because right now, we're doing the best that we can with the athletes that we're taking to the Olympia, based on the information that's been provided to us. Again, we do know what they're looking for. However, we would love to have a set standard of, this is what we want our number 1 girl to look like. This is the look. This is her. This is a queen. This is what everybody should aim for. So absolutely, we're dying to see that, because that will give Robert and myself a better idea of how to get our girls ready going forward for other contests, perhaps for next year, 2022 Olympia.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting, especially when they do, like you said, set down the criteria for the wellness look. And just so that everyone is aware, there's 24 athletes that are qualified, with a potentially 2, Giselle and I think Charlene can't get also visa, who might have visa issues. But I was having a look at the list, and there's 10 US athletes, 9 Brazilian, 1 Canadian, 2 French and 1 German athletes. And it's quite interesting to see the majority of where the athletes are based, also based on all of the competitions that have gone on throughout the year. So I am excited to see a final criteria be set down for the ladies, and for you to be able to then take your athletes to the next level for next year, because that's going to be, a big game changer. But I've also been looking online a lot recently, and I've also seen what other coaches are trying to say about who will win, wellness. And I've had some say that Francielle might win, or Dr. Sunny might, place top 5, as opposed to, let's say, somebody who's like Yarishna, or someone like Giselle, who's maybe hasn't done wellness for as long of a time, if that makes sense. And I don't know what your opinion is on that sort of statement, or if you just think it's other people's predictions and what they think will win.
Well, again, it's everybody can speculate and everybody can have an opinion, and Robert and I respect that. The end of the day, like I said, all these athletes look great standing by themselves on Instagram posting pictures. We need to see them standing next to each other so they can be properly judged and they can be compared in the same quarter turns, under the same lighting, under the same conditions. Because pictures from, let's say, Dr. Sunny Andrews, who has a great physique, and you compare her to Giselle Machado, who also has her own type of physique. Again, we're talking about 2 completely different height differences. Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Giselle's 167 centimeters in height.
Yeah. 1.5.
So she's a tall girl compared to Sunny, who's like 5'1" or 5 feet tall. So again, when you stand those 2 physiques next to each other, that's when you can compare them. You're gonna have a girl that fit just optically may look twice the size of the other girl. So again, that's why I have certain people that I would like to see, but again, that's just based on personal opinion, like Robert said as well too. So it's not something that we know these are going to be the top 5. These are just based on what we're seeing right now, what we like, and the shape of the girls that are going into the show. And from wellness, we've been following it for years because, like Robert said, yeah, before wellness was like a beach body look. You know, it was just higher body fat, and it was a girl that just looked very, very good looking. And then now we're looking very good looking to very athletic, low body fat, you know, separation in the legs, you know, slight separation, no striations, you know, very toned upper body. So the look has changed dramatically. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, this Olympia is going to really set the bar for how Robert and I are going to do our jobs going forward.
Okay, so I'm going to just ask a question because you've mentioned height quite a bit, but do you think that does play a role within the structural physique of the wellness competitor at any point? Like, I know it doesn't really matter when you get to pro level what height you are because you're all thrown into the mix and it's about shape. But for some might say, oh, maybe a shorter athlete with more fuller muscle bellies is maybe a more optimum wellness athlete compared to maybe a taller woman that has sort of, you know, longer muscle and she needs to add a lot more onto her frame. Does that play a part in it for you with the athletes that you train and that you see? Or is that just, yeah?
Well, for me, it's just genetics for me because, look, if you look at Angela Borges, she's tall. You look at Giselle, she's tall. And it's just their genetic ability to add muscle into their bodies. That doesn't really matter versus an athlete that's shorter that can also add on muscle. So that just comes down to the genetic ability of that individually. Now, yes, you will have taller athletes that it'll be hard for them to add on quad size, you know, hamstring size or glute development. But that's just genetic, of course. That's not something that Robert and we can only do so much in that area. You know, of course, there's training exercises, and you know, Robert's was the glute expert when it comes to making the teardrop. He does a crazy training camp with the girls wherever he goes. So you know, he tries to fix that as much as he can. But then again, there's some girls that do nothing and they have amazing glutes, and you're like, well, what do you do for your hamstring glutes? Oh, nothing. I just do legs once a week. And you're like, how? You know. It just, you know, there's some girls that have amazing calves, and we're like, what's your calf routine? Oh, I don't do calves. I just walk in heels. Okay, that works, you know. So it's different for everybody. And I don't know if Robert shares the same opinion, but, you know, the height thing is not so much, but it's based on that athlete's ability genetically to add on muscle.
Right. So I feel like Robert's just sort of walking around at the gym. He's in Cancun at the moment, or he's trying to find a spot.
I'm in Iron Gym.
Yeah.
Iron Gym Religion, Orlando. Then some guys they want to posing, and I want to let them pose because if not, they get stressed. Like, let's see if I get penalized.
Are they doing the Olympia, Robert?
Yeah. There's a lot of Olympians here.
Oh.
A lot of Olympians.
Really? Who's there? Just so that we can...
He's here. I can see you at the team going cardio.
Do you want to quickly give us a quick run through of the just show us the gym, a quick 360, Robert, and then we can show MD and everyone on here the gym. You don't have to introduce, just quickly show us around. Oh, it looks fantastic.
Phil Heath, I think Phil Heath does the prep year 2019.
Oh, cool.
2019. 2020. It's 2020 or 2019 when Phil Heath because I use the Tatiany cardio.
Hey, that's so cool. Sorry, guys, that's so exciting.
You want to see a little bit more?
Do you want to quickly say hi to Isa? So Giles is laughing here.
I don't know. She can, because these headphones, she can say hi, but it's going to be like, hi.
Maybe you should just get everyone at, is it Iron Religion Gym to say hi to MD? Just say, hey, MD.
The problem is it's kind of in different places.
Wow.
We got Eric, he's a man physique, he's a husband, he's a Tatiany husband. We got some Olympians, he's going to Olympia, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
got here quite a lot of people. Really, it's really nice. I really like this gym. I think it's amazing. I think Brian's gonna be soon as well.
Yeah.
He's gonna be able to.
Your gyms look amazing. My
Yeah,
goodness.
Really,
So
I will. last year I went to that gym and I went to the locker room and I hear somebody just blowing out air, and when I walk out, it's none other than Big Ramy. And I remember I walked out terrified, and my friend was like, "Dude, what happened?" And I go, "Dude, I just saw Big Ramy posting." I told him, I said, "I think he's gonna Olympia." He's like, "Oh, you think so? He's always big." I go, "No." I said, "I've never seen Big Ramy this big, this ripped, this shredded." I'm like, "I think he's gonna take it." So when we saw stage and he won, I was like, "I told you." I'm like, I walked out of that locker room like, what did I just see? It was impressive. It was really, really impressive.
Oh, you guys are so lucky. See, I wish we could be there now. No, but that's absolutely amazing. Jim looks fantastic, and I like to hear the stories of everything. So I want to just let's throw it back to you guys. Is there anything that you want to talk about with wellness now before we end, and just like, you know, and coming up to Olympia, what do you want to talk about?
First of all, I need to clarify, it's not 243, it's not 2 athletes not making it to Olympia, it's 4 athletes.
Okay.
Lisa from Germany does not make it. Yeah, she's not doing the show. Giselle Machado, due to visa issues, where pretty much Brian tried to help as well, but unfortunately she didn't make it. She's doing a show in Mexico, Monterrey, for Olympia. Then also Charlize, because she's a nurse, and they don't, during the COVID situation, that's the real fact. She's not turning up to Olympia. She's done a lot of shows here, and, you know, she needs to vaccinate and something like that. And we go, she should be as well in the same situation. She's resident in France, and you know, she should travel to Brazil to make an appointment for the visa, but it will be too late. And like Brian said, 2 great artists, maybe will be on the first call out. Yeah. We don't know what it will. But the Olympia will miss them for sure. The big names. You're just going to be in bad position. You know, that's why I prefer to play. Let's see, let's work. You know, Isamara, they don't talk too much about her, but she's danger. Juliana Chitara is danger. Yarishna is danger. I know what the name is danger. Everybody's danger.
Okay.
You know, especially the ones they know in the mix. The ones they know in the mix, they got blood and ice. And that's the danger ones. No, Giselle Machado is very dangerous. Isamara is very dangerous. Juliana Chitara is very dangerous. Ida Perez is very dangerous. I talked to Yarishna yesterday. We are talking on the phone because I now work in the team Yarishna with her.
Okay.
And I say to Yarishna, you know, don't just concern with Angela and Francione. We need to concern with these girls like Isamara, Casey, Lonely, because when they not be mentioned, they work with us. And I see Francione Otto in a normal gym lift like 5 kilos. I'm seeing Isamara sweat every single day in a gym like this in Cancun.
Oh.
I saw Juliana Chitara train in this gym. They don't train in the resort. They stay in the resort, but they don't train in the resort. That showed to me these girls, they want to win. They don't want to lose. Or they want to prove something. I don't know Brian, but for me, that's the danger girl.
Okay.
So look, Juliana Chitara, you're there. Everybody thinks Susanna is going to win. One more time. Coaches need to be careful when they talk, their athletes disappear. Look what happened to Susanna. Nobody expects. You know? Why? Because it's not criteria. Guys, it's not. It's a certain line they want a certain look. The look turned up in that day is the look is going to win. Right. And that's going to be the Olympia. That's my perspective. I can't come here and muscle the ball like, oh, Yari's already won and that's it. No, I can't do that.
Good.
Because if she loses, what are they going to do? Oh, Robin, what's happening? I don't know how to answer. Brian got low, he looks good. KCB winning shows. He can't come here and say, Casey already made top 5, already won because she's been winning, blah, blah, blah. If she didn't make top 5, what are they going to do?
Right.
we're going to look like a clowns here. Then I prefer, me personally, I play safely. Mm-hmm. That's me. Someone who out there wants to say that is the best is spot on for, Angela, Giselle and Yarishna is spot on for them. I think it's a advantage game.
That's perfect. So basically, it's anyone's game at this moment, depending on what they look like and how, they're placed next to each other on stage. So that's going to be very exciting. And then I'm going to wrap it up and then ask you guys one more question. I want to ask you something. I want to say, what makes you so passionate about wellness? And Brian, I'm going to start with you first.
Well, for me before, it was... I'll never forget. I was up there in 2014 for one of my close friends. He was competing in the bodybuilding open class. Turned pro. He's from Colombia, and I that was the year that the Arnold Classic included wellness into the show. And I remember when I saw the girls walk out, I was like, "Holy crap! What is that?" And they're like, "Oh, that's wellness." I'm like, "Wellness what?" I'm like, "Those girls are huge." And I'm like, what category is that? So it was something that I was like, wow. And there were physiques where I was like, okay, yeah, that's a whole different look, And then for me, I started to really get interested into that category. Of course, Robert's been in the game much longer than I have. Clearly, his experience, I respect him a lot because he's got years of experience. So when people ask me, hey, who's the number one wellness coach right now? I tell them, well, by numbers, it's got to be Robert Phil. And I don't have a problem admitting that, And again, he's played the big brother role with me in mentoring me and telling me, hey, do this, do that, to the point to where I have several girls qualified for the Olympia, and it's, for me, it's been a blessing to be able to go to the Olympia with, 4 to 5 girls. It's a blessing, but at the end of the day, I have no problem giving props where props are due. I give them to Robert. I have another, Isa Pereira's husband, Guilherme. He was another person that spoke to me at the beginning too. So I have no problem giving accolades where they're due. I'm very humble when it comes to that. I think it's a great thing that we're being able to share a new common ground with everyone else. So it was actually very exciting to see that this category, it was born in Brazil. However, it's being shared with the world. And me being a huge fan of the Brazilian culture, speaking fluent Portuguese myself, it's awesome to see that a country like that is growing and that they're being able to share something that was theirs with the world.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then how can people find you, Brian?
On Instagram, I'm listed as _official_baby Hulk.
Okay. And then Robert, on to you quickly, because I can hear lots of heavy lifting in the background. But what makes you so super passionate about wellness?
Make me super passionate. I even make a tattoo.
Oh my gosh! See, now I didn't know that.
Wellness Procreator. Wellness Procreator is a name is being given me for someone who works in MD before, and one day came to me and said, "Why Robert Phil Wellness? Why not Procreator? Why?" For the simple fact, I make so many amateurs to turn pro. From October last year, 18 up to today, we don't even make 1 year. I count 11 new pros.
Oh.
Then we can add to the board in that, but on the moment I'm with her. Then I'm also in Olympia, like a lot of people ask me, how many wellness you qualified to Olympia? Then I can be here and say, I'm no longer with Angela or Dr. Sunny, but on the moment they qualify, I'm with them. I coach them. My passion is such big that I can't even express. Like I say, I express in my tattoo, I make it, and I'm not going to waste time here and say, oh, I love more than this. No, I really love it. And people can see the passion I have for the class. They just look to me, they see how much I brought to the Pro League more than 100 athletes from the previous federation. That's really how much love I have for this class and how much I want this class to grow in the Pro League. And I don't expect gratitude for that. I just expect this class be the biggest class female in Olympia. Forgive me for the other female classes, but wellness is something. And the next, like Jam say, I call him the architect. The reason I call him architect is just for the fact is he dedicates so much his time to photograph these girls, to make them to shine behind the stage. And it brought, they know it's a big fight for him in Thailand to bring this class to the pro league. And when they make that, it's my dream come true, maybe Brian's dream come true, and we just want to say, I know Brian want to say thank you to them, and I will say thank you to them. And then my only love go to all the wellness around the world. I love all of them. I'm going to be with Baby Hook. We're going to be there, sit down, watch the shows. Who wins, wins. And we're going to be honest, bro. She deserves to win. She deserves to win. What we're going to do? We're not going to fight. After the Olympia, people maybe think we're not going to say hello, whatever. We're going to drink and eat, whatever, outside and talk. Oh, very surprised. This one plays third, this one plays second. Nobody expects it. I don't know, Brian, but I expect surprises in Olympia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want names. I want bodies on stage. And I want, what will happen is, there's no politics. Still hit third place, Big Ramy wants. I want the same in wellness, you know. Yeah, these names, and someone come from nowhere. Boom. That's what I want. I want some blood.
Awesome. And then Robert, how can people find you?
People, I think me, Baby Hulk, already, even Baby Hulk give his Instagram there, but you don't need the introduction, bro. You don't need that. But end of the day, Robert Phil, whatever, Robert Phil _ Wellness Pro Creator. I know the name is very big, but end of the day, I think it's a beautiful name. It's big, but what am I going to do? I create pros. Baby Hook can put as well, Baby Hook, Wellness Olympia Pro Creator, whatever. If he puts that, he deserves that, because in shortest time, I never see him putting 4 or 5 wellness in Olympia.
That's amazing.
It's not something.
Yeah.
And it's not going to have I say to him, bro, it's not going to have an easy job. Mm-hmm. You need to deal with mental states, quarantine situations. Yeah. I'm a lucky coach to be in Olympia and watch Baby Hook's work. Because I don't have much to do there. I'm on the moment now, only go to support Yarishna. That's it. Yarishna is going to come to Religion Gym next week with Louis. We're going to see her, see how she looks. To clarify, Louis is still the coach of Yarishna.
Okay.
I'm just assist Yarishna what they need, a little bit extra knowledge, because I've been coaching wellness for more than 10 years. They just add me as a teammate, you know? Just to clarify here, because I don't like to take the credit of no one. Louis made Yarishna, that's it. I'm just something being added to his team to bring more quality, okay? And just to clarify that, you know, Robert, who's to the diet, you know, I think maybe you like that because it's very straight, you know, the same with Loli, the same with Casey, you know, he's the one to the diet, doing the training. They maybe have some friends or coach manager or whatever, but the coach is with you, the same as me. If I coach someone, Yarishna, I'm just, in our team, the same with Angela Borges, I have my own things I do in the team, and I don't need to reveal that, but it's very decent stuff I do, and very important. And next week, we'll see how she looks. And like I said to Yari yesterday, let's focus on each single one of them, because they're all dangerous.
They're all dangerous. I love that. So that is, you know, Robert Phil and Brian Hernandez, the Baby Hulk. You guys, congratulations on like being there and just getting your athletes there and being, you know, part of that new legacy and the first wellness at Olympia. So congratulations, and, you know, all the best of luck to you both next week, and as you prepare up for it. So thank you so much for talking to me, and for talking to me all about wellness, and just for giving me your opinion on what is to come in the next week. And I'm sure that when we have a criteria, it would be very interesting to talk again about this and see what else will happen, because the first one ever, like, how exciting is that, right? So
Very.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back. Maybe we'll be back here after Olympia to talk.
Yes.
The winner. That's what be interest. That would, to be honest, that's what's going to be interest. To have me, Baby, Ricardo Panay, the coaches coming and talk about this category and say, what do you think about the top 5? And then we can discuss it. Because we're going to have the criteria for the pro race. On the moment, we don't have. I don't have.
Yeah.
If Brian has, I don't have the criteria. I don't know if the criteria is Giselle, if it's Yarishna, if it's Angela, if it's Franciela, if it's Mara, if it's Juliana, if it's Giselle Pereira. I don't know. Then, and Baby Luke have a very hard actors as well to beat, bro. Your game it's not easy. And let's see.
Well, we'll see, and we'll see after the Olympia. But for today, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for watching this on MD. Please make sure to go follow Robert Phil, the wellness creator, and Brian Hernandez, the baby Hulk, on Instagram. See more of their journey in the wellness stage and upcoming to Olympia. And who knows what's going to happen, because it's all very exciting. So you guys, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow MD, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.